The year is 1299. Anatolia is a graveyard of empires. The Seljuk Sultanate, once mighty, now crumbling. The Mongols, having swept across the east like a wildfire, leave only ash and ruin in their wake. The Byzantine Empire clings desperately to its fading glory. And somewhere on the frontier, in a place most have never heard of, a young warrior named Osman stands at the edge of history. He leads a small tribe. Barely 400 families. No grand army. No legendary fortress. Just a dream. What happens next will change the world for 6 centuries. Let's go back a little further. To understand Osman, you need to understand where he came from. The Kai tribe, Osman's people, were part of the great Turkic migrations. Nomadic warriors who'd been pushed westward by the Mongol invasions, searching for land, for safety, for a future. They ended up here, in the borderlands between the dying Byzantine and Seljuk empires. Osman's father, Ertugrul, had earned his people a small territory by fighting for the Seljuks. It wasn't much, a few villages, some pastures. But it was theirs. When Ertugrul died around 1280, Osman inherited leadership. He was in his early 20s. Untested. Unknown. Most tribes like his faded into history. Absorbed by larger powers. Forgotten. But Osman was different. He had vision. He had faith. And he had something else, a dream that would become legend. One night, Osman had a dream. He saw a tree rising from the chest of his spiritual mentor, Shikadebelai. The tree grew and grew, its branches spreading across mountains, rivers, and seas. Beneath its shade, entire cities flourished. And from its roots flowed 4 great rivers, the Tigris, the Euphrates, the Nile, and the Danube. When he woke, he went to Shikadebelai and told him everything. The sheik smiled. "Osman," he said, "this is not just a dream. It is a promise. From your lineage, a great empire will be born." Shortly after, Osman married Adebelai's daughter, Malhan. The spiritual and the political united. Legitimacy met ambition. And Osman got to work. The frontier was chaotic, perfect for someone smart and hungry. Osman began raiding Byzantine territories, capturing towns, offering protection to local populations in exchange for loyalty. Muslims, Christians, it didn't matter. If you swore allegiance to Osman, you were safe. He wasn't building an empire through brute force alone. He was building trust. Stability. Something people wanted to be part of. In 1301, Osman won a critical battle at Bapheus against a Byzantine force. It wasn't huge, maybe a few thousand men on each side. But it sent a message. The Byzantines panicked. They sent word to Constantinople, there's a new power rising in the east. That power had a name now. The Ottomans. Over the next 2 decades, Osman transformed his tribe into a proto-state. He created a system where warriors, called Ghazis, were rewarded with land for their service. He welcomed refugees, craftsmen, and scholars. His territory grew, not just through conquest, but through immigration. People saw something in Osman's vision. A place where you could build a life. Where loyalty mattered more than bloodline. By 1320, Osman controlled much of northwestern Anatolia. The Byzantines were on the defensive. The Seljuks had all but collapsed. And the Ottomans? They were just getting started. Osman never saw his greatest triumph. For years, he had his eyes on Bursa, a Byzantine stronghold, rich, strategic, vital. Capturing it would signal to the world that the Ottomans were here to stay. But by 1323, Osman was sick. Old age, illness, history isn't clear. What we do know is that he couldn't ride anymore. Couldn't lead his men into battle. So he passed command to his son, Orhan. "Take Bursa," Osman told him. "Let it be the first jewel of our empire." Orhan laid siege to the city. It took years. The Byzantines held on desperately, hoping for reinforcements that never came. And then, in 1326, the gates opened. Bursa fell. Orhan rode back immediately, desperate to tell his father the news. But Osman was already gone. He had died just days before. Some say hours. The men who dreamed of an empire never lived to see its first great victory. But Orhan made sure his father's legacy was cemented. He buried Osman in Bursa, in a tomb that still stands today. And on that tomb, an inscription would later read, "Here lies Osman, founder of the Ottoman Empire." From his seed, an empire that spanned 3 continents was born. Osman never called himself emperor. He never wore a crown. He started with almost nothing, a tribe on the edge of survival, a dream most would have laughed at. But he understood something powerful. Empires aren't built on strength alone. They're built on vision, on loyalty, on the belief that something greater is possible. Osman planted the seed, and his son, Orhan, would water it. Because what came next was even more extraordinary. Orhan wouldn't just defend his father's legacy, he would explode it. He would cross into Europe. He would face empires far more powerful than his own. And he would win. The Ottomans had been born. Now, they would rise. Subscribe to this channel and put us on post notification to know what happened next in episode 2.